I bought this 2015 Dodge Ram behind me at auction, specifically to flip, but I need your help because I am struggling with two things of whether I just leave it as is or if it's worth the cost to change it out for something that will look nicer, you know, function better, those sorts of things. So first of all, specifically, I'm talking about this front bumper. Now this front bumper was pushed in. I noticed that when I bought it at auction. It obviously doesn't rub on the tire or anything like that, but essentially it is pushed in. Now I talked with a couple of different shops around me and they said the easiest way to do it would just be, you know, like hook it up to a winch or something like that, and essentially just grab onto like this part here or that part here and just kind of like winch it out, right? And they said they wouldn't do it because they can't guarantee it, but that's probably going to be your best bet on that one. So my question is, do I leave that as is? So obviously it's got a crease. The main thing is on the underside, you can kind of see how the rubber hangs down there, and that's because of that crease. So when it pushed in, it bubbled up that rubber. So it's got a crease right above that tow hook there on the front, and then it's got a crease there on the side. So that's the first thing. Should I take the time, spend the money to swap out the bumper? I can get a used bumper, or I can even get, they sell like a front pack that you can get, and I think it's like $300 or $400 to get a new bumper on this thing. The main thing is to replace that bumper, you have to like tear apart the whole front end, which is obviously going to be a pretty big process, take a good amount of time. So that's the first thing. Should I just leave the bumper, sell it as is? It's obviously a truck. It's not the end of the world. Like it's not pushed, it's not damaged or anything. Doesn't affect its driving, but obviously you can tell that there was some damage where somebody, you know, pushed up into a tree, or, you know, maybe a snowstorm or whatever the case might be. I'm in South Carolina, so probably not a snowstorm, maybe ice, whatever the case might be. And then let me show you the second. Then the second thing that I'm considering doing is swapping out this factory unit here with one of those that has like the bigger screen and that sort of a deal. Now here's the thing. I love the fact that those that have that come with the bigger screen, they've got like Apple CarPlay built in, so it kind of sets my truck apart from maybe other trucks on the market that just have this standard screen, right? However, the downside to all the ones that I could find was they have the screen, they have the whole tablet thing, but then you lose these volume buttons. So essentially they take and they fill in from like here to here, and then from here up to here, all with screen, and you lose all of your buttons to like adjust the volume, those sorts of things. It's all done on the touch screen. Now that wouldn't necessarily be bad, except for on this specific model truck, I don't have the little things on the back that adjust the volume, change the channel. So the only way to adjust the volume and change the channel on that little touchscreen would be on that touchscreen. So obviously it makes it a little bit more difficult. You know, it's not the traditional knobs. It makes it a little more difficult to adjust the volume, to, you know, mute it, those sorts of things. Especially if you're going down the road, you got to look over at that thing. So those are the two things that I'm considering. So what do you think? Neither of them are mechanical. Neither of them affect the functionality or driving of the truck. It runs great. It drives great. All of those sorts of things. But I just don't know what I should do in both of those situations. Like, obviously when I go to sell it, I'll disclose the bumper issue, you know, like it's got a crease in the front bumper, you know, it's not pushed back too far or anything like that. I'll disclose it. But is that something that I should just spend the time, spend the money, you know, buy the bumper, whether it's a used bumper at a junkyard or whether it's, you know, one of those that kind of change the whole front, and take the time to swap out the entire front end of the truck? Or is it just like, it's not that big of a deal to a truck buyer because it is a truck, right? And the same thing with that tablet. Like, I kind of want to set myself apart from other trucks on the market, but there's not a lot of good looking trucks on the market that are 4-wheel drive, have under 200,000 miles, have a great running engine, that are like, you know, it's a V8, it can tow things easily. You know, there's not a whole ton of trucks in the market that'll even be anywhere close to my price range. Like, I'm looking at selling it between 10 and 12 is what I'm still hoping to get. And I was looking at my market today, and there's like nothing, not even Dodges, which Dodges are typically the cheapest. Not even Dodges are in, there's not hardly anything in that 10 to 12 range that's not, you know, has some mechanical issue or something like that. So give me your 2 cents. Let me know, what do you think I should do with this? Should I just leave it, or should I change out those two things, or maybe one and not the other? What do you think?